How to play the Fox Experiment. 1 to 4 players, ages 14 and up, playtime 60 minutes. In the Fox Experiment, players strive to earn the most points over 5 rounds by breeding foxes, completing studies, and attracting patrons. The game has 4 phases: selection, breeding, research, and administration. In selection, players choose fox parents and supplies. Breeding involves rolling dice to create new fox pups. In research, players complete studies for endgame points and unlock upgrades. The administration phase involves managing the fox population and scoring friendliness rewards. The player with the most points at the end of the 5th round wins. Components: gear tokens and fox meeples, supply, trait, point, and friendly tokens, parent fox cards, blank fox pup cards, study cards, patron cards, science cards, turn order tokens, reference cards, and scorecard. Setup: board and kennel setup. Place the board with the 1 to 4 player side up. Shuffle the science and study cards and place them face down right here. Shuffle the patron cards, then place 2 with the A side face up and the other 2 with side B. Mix up the supply tiles and place them face down here. Then place a tile face up, skipping the first space until you reach your player count. Also place 1 tile face up next to each patron. Shuffle the female and male parent decks separately. Then create a row of each with 1 more card than there are players. In this case there are 4 because we have 3 players. Place the trait dice, friendly dice, trait tokens, friendly tokens, and point tokens to the side. And set aside the scorecard for the end of the game. Player setup. Each player picks a color and takes a player mat, gear token, fox meeples. Shuffle all your blank fox cards and place them face down. A green friendly fox die, marker, and a player aid card. Give the first turn order token to the person with the friendliest pet or choose randomly. Then continue clockwise, returning the rest to the box. Give a friendly token to the 2nd and 3rd players, 2 tokens to players 4 and 5, and 3 if you have a 6th player, which requires an expansion. Deal 3 study cards to each player, choose 1, then return the rest to the bottom of the deck. If this is your first game, just randomly deal out 1 to each player. Overview. The game's goal is to earn the most points by the end of the 5th round. Achieve this by breeding friendly foxes, completing studies, and attracting patrons. Each round has 4 phases. Selection phase, where you choose parent foxes and supplies. Breeding phase, where you roll the dice to create new fox pups with different traits. Research phase, where you use traits to complete studies for points and earn trait tokens for upgrades. And finally, the administration phase, where you evaluate pup friendliness and use them as parents for the next generation. Phase 1, Selection. In the selection phase, players take turns based on turn order tokens, which may change from each round. Each player gets 3 turns to pick one of the following items: a female fox parent, a male fox parent, and a supply track position. You must choose 1 of each item during your 3 turns in any order that you prefer. After everyone finishes their selections, players can unlock upgrades before moving on to the breeding phase. Selecting a fox parent. To select a fox parent, take a card from the kennel and place it to your left. If you don't like the available options, you can draw randomly from the top of the deck. Note that all foxes have 1 to 3 random trait dice. Choose a supply track position. Choosing a supply track position provides immediate supplies and determines your turn order for the next round. Collect all supplies shown on the space, including icons on the supply tile and the board. Then discard the supply tile. Place your gear on the tile space, but keep your current turn order token for now. It will be redistributed later. Some of the supplies include drawing a science card, take a friendly token, take a trait token of that type, or one of your choice. At the end of the selection phase, players can spend sets of matching trait tokens to unlock upgrades on their player mats. You can do this again at the end of the research phase in future rounds. This helps improve your abilities for breeding and research. Phase 2, Breeding. During the breeding phase, players simultaneously gather and roll their dice to make pups from the parents they selected. First, draw a blank pup card, then gather all the dice from the parent foxes as well as any friendly dice you have unlocked. Roll the dice, then sort them by trait matching whole symbols. Friendly dice and tokens act as wilds, helping you complete symbols of any trait or friendly symbols to count as any trait. If you use any tokens, they are discarded at the end of the breeding phase. Then record your traits on your blank pup card. Mark each spot for each matching symbol. Each time you fill in a square above a dice image, it unlocks that dice in a future breeding phase if this pup is used as a parent. If you reach the end of a row, you will immediately gain a victory point token for each symbol left over. Yay! Count the total number of trait symbols and write that number at the top right. The player with the friendliest fox will win an award during the administration phase.
Alright!
Also, be sure to name your fox.
This is Nathan Scott Phillips. This is my best friend.
Phase 3. Research. During the research phase, all players simultaneously score studies, collect trait tokens, and unlock upgrades. Scoring studies. Each study card has 3 levels. At the end of the game, you gain points equal to the highest completed level on each study card. You don't get to add them all up, so don't get too excited. To complete a study level, assign one of your pups that meets these requirements. A pup must complete a level on its own. You can't combine pups or use trait tokens.
Oh.
Each pup can complete only one level of one study and can't be used for multiple studies. Levels must be completed in order from left to right. You can't skip ahead. Once a level is completed, it can't be done again. Place a fox meeple to track progress. Completing the 3rd level earns you a maximum of 10 points for that study. Collect trait tokens. After breeding and scoring studies, you will collect trait tokens to unlock upgrades. If you bred one pup, collect a trait token for each marked circle. If you bred more than one pup, skip this part and refer to the breeding multiple pups section later in this video. Unlock upgrades. Upgrades can be unlocked at the end of the selection phase or research phase. Upgrades are unlocked from left to right in each track, each space indicating its cost in matching trait tokens. They can be of any type, but they must match. Use one of the tokens to mark that you unlocked it, returning the rest to the supply. This row allows you to breed multiple pups, and this one is the only way to acquire additional study cards. Once you unlock one, draw 3 study cards and keep one, returning the rest to the bottom of the deck. And this row unlocks additional friendly dice for the breeding phase. It's real important. Each time you unlock one, take a friendly dice from the supply and permanently add it to your stash. Yay! And this row allows you to unlock a patron, which will score you points at the end of the game. Add one of your fox meeples next to a patron card and gain the supplies shown as well as a science card. Phase 4. Administration. During the administration phase, follow these steps. Discard all unselected foxes from the previous generation. If they are player pups, erase them and return them to the player, placing them at the bottom of their pup deck. Discard both parent foxes you used during the breeding phase and return all trait dice to the public piles, except for your unlocked friendly dice, of course. Place all new pups in the kennel in any order. Find the new pup with the highest friendliness score, and the player who bred it places a fox meeple on the friendliness rewards track, moving left to right, earning points at the end of the game. In case of a tie, all tied players place a meeple and share the points. Players who didn't place a meeple receive friendly tokens shown below. Refill the kennel and ensure each row has at least one more fox than the number of players. Discard unclaimed supply tiles, and players return their old turn order tokens, placing them above the corresponding spot. Then take your gear and new turn order token for the next selection phase. Deal new face-up supply tiles on the supply track, matching the player count. If the supply tile stack is empty, shuffle the discards, then continue dealing. Next generation. After the first generation, aka round, player-made foxes will be available to choose in the kennel, whether you bred them or not. Each marked square gives you that trait dice for the next selection phase if you choose this fox as a parent. Some players may have also unlocked breeding multiple pups. Breeding multiple pups. Unlocking pup upgrades on your player mat allows you to create multiple pups each round. To breed multiple pups, follow these steps. Complete breeding for one pup, including rolling and recording traits. Draw a new blank fox card and repeat the same steps for your second pup, and the third if you have 2 pup upgrades. You will use the same dice for all pups, but you must finish breeding each pup before moving on to the next one, and discard any friendly tokens or science cards used before rolling the next pup. Scoring studies for multiple pups. During the research phase, each pup you made can complete only one level of a study. You can assign your pups to the studies in any order and allocate them to multiple levels of the same study or different studies if you have the study upgrade. Collecting tokens for multiple pups. When you have multiple pups, you don't gain trait tokens in the normal way. Instead, collect tokens for the 4 traits from the fox that has the highest on each row. If there's a tie, then you just take that much. Breeding siblings penalty. To simulate genetic concerns, players can agree to use this optional rule. If you breed two parents of the same player color, you receive a penalty. After collecting trait tokens in the research phase, immediately discard 2 tokens of your choice before unlocking upgrades. Note, the foxes from the parent decks do not have player colors and can breed with whoever they want.
Game end and scoring.
After players earned friendliness rewards at the end of the 5th round, the game ends. Pull out the scorecard and score each player as follows.
Studies.
Score the points printed at the bottom of the highest level you've completed on each of your study cards.
Patrons.
Score the points as described on each patron where you have a fox meeple.
Upgrades.
Score the points printed on each upgrade you've unlocked.
Friendliness.
Score the points printed above each space on the friendliness rewards track where you have a fox meeple.
Supplies.
Score points for your point tokens and leftover supplies in your personal stash. 1 point per point token, a point per science card, and 1 point per 2 trait or friendly tokens. The player with the most points wins.
Yay!
In case of a tie, the player closest to the beginning of the supply track wins.
Yay! 2-player mode.
In a 2-player game, you can introduce an automated opponent to make the selection phase more engaging. This opponent competes with you for foxes and supplies, but it does not score points.
Setup.
Prepare the board and kennel as if playing a 4-player game. Assign an unused player color to the AI opponent. Shuffle the AI's selection deck and study deck and put them nearby. Then flip over the top study card face up. Place the AI's gear token and 5 fox meeples near the selection deck, returning the rest to the box. Finally, give the AI a 3rd turn order token.
Phase 1 Selection.
During each selection phase, the AI takes 3 turns like a 3rd player, but selects 2 items per turn based on what selection card they flipped over. If the AI already selected an item twice, it takes the one it still needs, then flips over a 2nd card to get the other item.
Selecting foxes.
The AI uses its study card with a number 1 and number 2 priority trait. It picks the fox with the most dice of its number 1 preference. If it's tied, the fox with the most dice of its number 2 preference is selected instead. If still tied, it follows the arrow on the top of the selection deck to choose. The AI marks claimed foxes with a fox meeple but does not remove them from the kennel.
Claiming supply track positions.
When a gear icon appears, the AI takes the rightmost or leftmost available supply track space based on the arrow on the selection deck, blocking other players.
Oh.
The first time the AI selects a supply track position, mark it with a fox meeple. The second time, mark it with the gear token. This will determine its play order for the next round.
Phase 2 Breeding.
After the players have made their foxes, the AI simulates breeding new pups by adding extra trait dice to the foxes it selected and leaving them in the kennel to be selected for the next round. If it's a fox from the deck, add 1 die of each of the AI's priority traits. If it's a player fox, mark the next square of each priority trait. If there are already 2 die unlocked for that trait, skip it, and leave the fox meeple on the cards for now.
Phase 3 Research.
If any player completes the 3rd level of a study card, replace the AI study card with a new one to change its priorities. The AI doesn't participate in other research phase activities.
Oh, poor robot. Phase 4 Administration.
During this phase, follow the usual steps with exceptions. When clearing foxes from the kennel, move the ones with the fox meeples on them to the left. They will remain for the next round. The AI does not participate in the Friendliest Fox Award.
Oh.
After the award is given, remove the fox meeples from the cards. Remove the fox meeple and gear token will determine the AI's turn order for next round.
Endgame and scoring.
Score as usual, the AI doesn't earn any points.
Oh. Solo mode.
In a solo game, you compete against an automated opponent for foxes, supplies, and scores points based on its study cards. You must beat the AI's score to win.
Setup.
Set up the board and kennel for a 3-player game. Assign an unused player color to the AI, shuffle the AI's selection and study decks and place them nearby with the first study card face up. Add 1 friendly token to the study card. Place the AI's gear token in all of its fox meeples. Give the AI the 2nd turn order token and a deck of blank foxes in its player color.
Phase 1 Selection.
The AI selects parent foxes in a supply track position just like a 2-player game, except in solo mode, the AI can have multiple study cards throughout the game. The leftmost card determines its priorities.
Phases 2 and 3 Breeding and Research.
The AI breeds and researches 2 pups one after another before you can breed your own.
Oh. Making the first pup.
Draw a blank pup from the AI's deck. Find the leftmost parents the AI selected in the kennel, and for each trait dice on both parents, mark a space on the pup card. If the AI has any friendly tokens on its study cards, mark 1 space for the number 1 priority trait, then 1 for the number 2 priority if there's another token. Write the pup's friendly score and give it a name, like Finley. If the AI fills up a trait track, it gains point tokens just like a human player.
Assign pup to studies.
The AI can score 1 level on each study card it has, so check the leftmost incomplete level on each study card and add a fox meeple to each one it satisfies. If level 3 is completed on a study card, set that card aside and slide the others to the left, changing the AI's priorities to the next card. If the AI completes the first level of a card, draw a new one and place it at the end of the row. The current pup does not score for that card, and the AI does not collect any trait tokens.
Make the second pup.
Take the same steps as pup number 1, but choose the rightmost parents it selected instead. If the AI tries to breed 2 foxes with the same player color, choose the leftmost mother and the rightmost father instead. If they are still the same, the AI does so without penalty. If they run out of fox meeples, use another color from the box.
Player breeding and research.
After resolving the AI's breeding and research, make and score your pups as usual.
Phase 4, Administration.
Follow the administration phase steps with some exceptions. Discard all parents and foxes in the kennel, including the AI's selected parents. Place the AI's pups at the left end and right end of its row, and place your pups in between. If you have more than 4 pups in a row, put your remaining ones to the right of the AI's second pup. The AI competes for friendliest rewards just like a player. If the AI loses, it takes the friendly tokens and places them on its study cards from left to right with a max of 2 per card. If there are any left over, set them aside until they draw another study card, then immediately place them on that card. Fill the kennel to a maximum of 4 male and 4 female foxes. Reset the turn order based on the gear tokens and return the AI's fox meeple, and refill the supply track normally.
Endgame and scoring.
At the end of the game, you score normally. The AI scores points for its highest completed levels, friendliness rewards, and point tokens from filling trait tracks. Whoever has the most points wins. Yay!
Hard mode.
For a tougher solo experience, when the AI places in a supply track position that would earn friendly tokens, it takes them immediately and adds them to its study cards, following the same rules as when taking friendliness rewards.
The end.
Thank you for watching. If you found this tutorial helpful, please like and subscribe below. Also, let us know what you thought in the comments, and if you have any suggestions for future tutorials, put them there too. If you like looking at pictures, follow Board Game Tutorials on TikTok and Instagram. Also, subscribe to our newsletter at boardgametutorials.com.